Great. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Thanks for coming. Appreciate it very much as we do the business of the county. We'll move on to, we'll let the meeting begin. All right. Let's see. Okay. We're going to start with our invocation. I'm going to turn this over to Supervisor Chukri to make some introductions.
Mr. Chairman, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And I'm pleased to share with my colleagues and others watching today a good friend of mine and a great mayor, and that is Mayor Jim Lane of Scottsdale. We've all seen what has transpired over the past several weeks with the sadness of the passing of Mr. Floyd and the various protests. And really, as we can all come to understand the attention that this has garnered about making sure we're focused on the right things as a community. And so I thought it was appropriate to not only mention that, Mr. Chairman, but to also know that we're all trying to work in the spirit of cooperation. And that is one thing that Mayor Lane has always been known for, is to be cooperative. He's been a great mayor to work with in my 8-year tenure as a supervisor. I take in all of Scottsdale as part of my district, and whether it's a flood control issue or just a mutual constituent interest, Mayor Lane is always there front and center in wanting to work with us. So I'm grateful for that. Jim, I'm grateful for our friendship and our working relationship, and I will turn it over to you for the invocation and the pledge.
Okay, thank you. If you could all please rise. Okay, we are ready.
Thank you. Can I be heard?
Yes, you can.
Yes, well, thank you very much for that introduction, Supervisor Chukri, and it really is a pleasure to be here with you, and I thank you for the invitation as well. And thank you, Chairman Hickman and Vice Chairman Sellers and all the supervisors for inviting me here to share with you an invocation for your meeting. Let us pray. May we ask God to bless the members of the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors and to give them wisdom to help to bring the people of the county together in peace and resolve in these troubled times. Let us pray, too, that they are blessed with the power of their works, thoughts, and actions to move the minds, hearts, and souls of warring factions to a greater understanding and respect for each other. We ask for God's blessing for all those who have suffered injury and loss as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. And may God help us all to rid our country and world of racial, ethnic, religious, and identity hatred and move us all to forgiveness. We pray this in the name of the Lord our God, with an amen.
Amen.
If you'd like, we could move right to the Pledge of Allegiance, if I could, if you're in a position to be standing, and a flag or not, if we could, together say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you, Mayor Lane. I appreciate it. Steve, thank you for that nice introduction. Mayor Lane, our best wishes to you and your city as we navigate some troubled times, and know that the county is there for you. We're partners, and we appreciate your attendance today.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate being here with you, and thank you for that show of support for us and for all our communities, certainly in these troubled times. But thank you.
You bet. Okay, we will now move on to the roll call. Ms. Fran McCarroll, will you please call the roll?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Supervisor Sellers.
Present.
Supervisor Gallardo.
Here.
Supervisor Gates.
Here.
Supervisor Chukri.
Here.
And Chairman Hickman.
Here. Thank you, Fran. We'll now move on to the pet showcase, always a favorite to all of us. And unfortunately, during these times, we just get to see pictures instead of the real doggy. So we'll go into the story on Ilsa. Meet Ilsa. Well, this Ilsa has never been to Casablanca. She is ready for a trip to her new forever home. Who wrote that? Okay. Ilsa is a 9-month-old poodle mix. She is very playful and loves to run and explore. Since she came in as a stray, we don't have much background, but she would make a great addition to any family. Ilsa will be available at 1:30 p.m. Wednesday, June 10th. Because Ilsa is a shelter superhero, her adoption fee is $300, but by paying this adoption fee, you are helping save the lives of up to 5 other pets. Ilsa will need to be spayed before going to her new home. Her ID number is A4426258. And don't forget, if you're interested in any of our pets, that phone number to call right now is 602-506-7387. Another thing we'd like to point out today on the screen is our MCACC field officers' Facebook page continues to get lost pets home to their owners. The owner of Max saw his picture on our Facebook page and contacted us right away. Max was still on one of our field trucks, so the officer was able to take him straight home for a happy reunion. Thanks to Animal Care Control Officer Lacey O'Laughlin and call center agent Irene Rodriguez for helping to get Max home safely. And that looks like a happy dog even in the truck. So thanks for your hard work. It's an important element of county with our animal care. All right, under planning and zoning, let's see. I don't know if we need to, do we need to bring you up just yet? No, we'll just go straight through. The number 5 is the element on Euclid subdivision assurance agreement and resolution. So the board will now consider item number 5.
Mr. Chairman, I will move approval of item number 5.
Thank you, Steve. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Still under planning and zoning is the consent agenda. And I'll read all the way through them. PZ1 is 29 Palms RV boat and storage. PZ2, Guardian boat and RV storage. PZ3, out of sight RV and boat storage. PZ4, Willis Road project. PZ5, Marbella North Water Campus. And PZ6 is element on Euclid. The board will now consider planning and zoning consent items PZ1 through PZ6.
Move for approval.
Okay, I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion. Thank you, Steve. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Next, under planning and zoning, under our regular agenda is PZ7 group homes. I'm now going to call on Jen Pekorski and Darren Gerard if they'd like to step to the plate. Thank you guys for being here today. We'll wait for Darren to get a microphone. Okay, Jen, welcome. On this item, would you like to go through a couple issues with this item?
Yes, thank you, Chairman, members of the board. This item, PZ7, is a text amendment that is applicant-driven to amend the county zoning ordinance, the group home section. And the key change that is being proposed is to remove the term long-term from our ordinance. Our current definition of a group home requires residents to live as a single housekeeping unit in a long-term family-like environment in which staff provides care, training, and support for the residents. The department defines long-term as a period of approximately a year. So this text amendment, among a few other changes, would remove long-term from that definition. Staff certainly appreciates that updates are required to our ordinance related to group homes. However, group homes is a very complex issue which has federal regulations and other legal issues that need to be considered before updating the ordinance. So the proposed text amendment as it stands could lead to some unintended consequences, which is why staff is recommending a continuance of this item to allow staff to conduct an analysis and determine what proposed changes need to be made to the group home text in our ordinance. So I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Great. I'll first look at the phone. I don't know if you guys have any questions. If you would like to ask one, I'll give you a second or two to pipe up. Okay. Are there any questions from this board? Not yet. Okay. Darren, are you just another pretty face today? Okay. Love that. I can hardly see you, though. Okay. I appreciate the work that Mr. Jarvis has done to start a dialogue about the regulation of group homes in Maricopa County. It's an important issue and one that the board does not take lightly. This is an important issue. So since this text amendment impacts the lives of so many people, I believe we must take a deliberate approach and carefully examine all of our options prior to making any changes to our zoning ordinance. I understand that staff is recommending that we hire a consultant to analyze our current ordinance and propose appropriate amendments to ensure we meet the needs of our community and comply with all federal regulations. I agree to that and ask that staff updates the board on the progress of that analysis at a meeting in late September or October. I understand the applicant has been notified of our need to complete the analysis. So I just wanted to make sure. I know that Mr. Jarvis has been working awfully hard, and it's quite the passion project for a lot of people in this community, but we need to be diligent in our approach. So is there a motion to continue this case?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes,
I would like to
Sellers.
make a motion on PZ7 group homes. I've had many discussions with the applicant, as I'm sure all of you have, and I believe the proponents of this change to our zoning ordinance have the best of intentions. But I also know that we need to take our time and really understand the issue before we take any action. With that in mind, I move that we continue item PZ7 until October 21st, 2020.
Okay, October 21st, 2020. Thank you, Mr. Sellers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Chairman.
We'll give it to, which Steve, though? I'll give it to the Steve on the phone so he can feel like he's participating today. All right. Being productive. Okay, thank you, Steve. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, now under statutory hearings. Thank you, Darren. Thank you, Jen. Under clerk of the board, number 6, liquor license, A through B, a new license for 3 bars, Feed and Tack, Filiberto's Mexican Food, and under transportation, patent easement abandoned road file number PAB-0112. Fran, are there any comments, written or otherwise, on these items? Great, thank you. So I will ask for a motion.
Mr. Chair, given the fact that all 3 of these are in my district, I will move approval of items 6 and 7.
Well, being that they're all 3, let's see if you get a second.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Great. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under county officers, let's do item number 8 alone for a second. Under Board of Supervisors is the resignation and appointment of the public fiduciary. Is Ms. Garcia in attendance? Okay, I can't recognize it looks like a bunch of bank robbers in here. And Josephine Jones, is she in attendance? Great, okay, you're both here. I just wanted to point out some things real quickly. It's an important position. Lena Garcia, she has been the public fiduciary for about a year and has been tremendous in building teamwork and streamlining process in the fiduciary's office. She has a deep commitment to staff and the work to serve the most vulnerable people in our community. We deeply value her level of professional respect and work transitioning incoming fiduciary. Lena will become Deputy Director of the Public Defender's Office, going from a 40-person department to nearly a 500-person department. Good luck. So thank you and well wishes to you, Lena. Thanks for serving. Josephine Jones, who will be the incoming Public Fiduciary Director. Josephine is a native to Maricopa County. That sounds familiar. For more than 2 decades, she has worked as an attorney with emphasis on mental health and the justice system. She's worked for the Maricopa County Attorney's Office, the Arizona Attorney General's Office, Office of the Maricopa County Public Defender, and Office of the Maricopa County Public Advocate. Josephine will draw on her broad range of experience to support the mission of the Office of the Maricopa County Public Fiduciary. I'm looking to see if there is a motion right now to accept both of these items on number 8, resignation and appointment.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion. There seemed to be a pause there. I don't know if that affects you too. You'll stay where you're at. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Congratulations to both of you, and great job. Looking forward to continue to work with both of you. So, great. All right, now we'll go to the other portion. Number 9, internal audit, annual audit plan, and annual risk assessment. Under Clerk of the Board, item 10, financial disclosure form for county elected officials. Number 11, air quality substantive policy statement certification. Under Clerk of the Court is appointments, number 12. So, looking for a motion for items 9 through 12.
Mr. Chairman?
Jack. Oh, okay, Steve. Jack.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, under constables, number 13, fix the salaries of precinct officers. Under county attorney, number 14, authorize payment in Graves versus Penzone. Under sheriff, 15 through 19, IGAs with the Department of Economic Security, Pinal County Sworn and Detention Training Academies, City of Chandler Sworn Training Academy, Coconino County Sworn Training Academy. Number 20 is a competition in practical with FLIR Unmanned Ground Systems. And number 21 is funds from the Office of National Drug Control Policy. The board will now consider items 13 through 21.
Move for approval?
Second.
Okay, great. Thank you, guys. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under school superintendent, item 22, budget adjustment for educational supplement program fund. Under treasurer, 23, tax deeded land auction bids approvals. And 24, tax deeded land auction bids rejections. The board will now consider items 22 through 24.
Mr. Chair, move approval of items 22 through 24.
Thank you, Supervisor Gates. Do I have a second?
Second.
Great. We have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under county management, under Assistant County Manager Leanne Bone, number 25 is appointments of Maricopa County Workforce Development Board members. The board will now consider item 25.
Move for approval?
Thank you, Vice Chair.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
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 Do we hear that, Steve? Did everybody hear Steve? There's Steve. I thought I was him. Okay. Okay, we have, any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under county offices and departments, air quality, 26 through 27, amend intergovernmental service agreements with Arizona Department of Environmental Quality, Animal Care and Control, 28 through 29 is unrestricted and restricted donations. Number 30, amend IGA with the town of Carefree for animal control services. Under the Budget Office, item 31 is amend budget monitoring and adjustment process direction. The board will now consider items 26 through 31.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval.
So moved.
Second.
We got a motion.
Keep up, Steve.
We have a motion and a second from the Steves. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under Correctional Health, 32, agreement with Wilkes University. Number 33, amend agreement with Gilead Sciences, Inc. Under Enterprise Technology, number 34, budget adjustment for desktop laptop replacement funding. Under Finance, 35, designee for expenditure limitation report. 36, electronic funds transfer authorization. Number 37, waiver for nationwide service level agreement. And number 38, funds, transfers, and warrants. The board will now consider items 32 through 38.
Motion to approve with a comment.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Go ahead, Bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On number 34, this item is going to have us moving towards more desktops. More towards laptops, getting away from desktops, which is consistent with the way that we're moving as a county, trying to respond to the needs of our employees, and especially with more teleworking. I really appreciate joining the team moving in this direction. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you, Bill. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under Human Resources, number 39, market ranges. Number 40, dental premium refund. Human Services, 41 through 48, amend agreements and IGAs with the City of Peoria, City of Avondale, City of Scottsdale, Town of Gila Bend, City of Surprise, City of Tolleson, Town of Guadalupe, and the Human Services Campus. The board will now consider items 39 through 48.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of items 39 through 48.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Second?
And second, thank you, Jack. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, under Human Services, still at number 49 through 58, renew 3-year cooperation agreements with, there's a lot of things. Go ahead, Fran.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, on this particular slide, you will notice there are a number of continued items. The item with the City of Goodyear is to be withdrawn. The City of Goodyear has decided not to be a part of this particular program. So the umbrella agreement that handles all of them needs to be amended to recognize that. And so all of the items with the other cities and towns will be continued to the meeting where they can all go together under the umbrella agreement. So items 49 through 58 are either continued or withdrawn. And so on this particular slide, if you would vote only on item number 59, which is the annual action plan for HUD-funded program activities. I'm sorry, I realized my mic was not on during that time. So the items are continued or withdrawn, voting only on item number 59.
Okay, so that being said, I do not need to talk about items 49 through 58, and we'll just go to item 59? Or we don't have to vote for a continuance on?
These are not public hearings, so we would not need to vote for a continuance. We can simply announce that there is a continuance.
Okay, so there is a continuance on these things according to the slide that we can see and posted. And we know that the City of Goodyear has withdrawn from the item. So then I can move on to item number 59.
Correct.
Great. Item number 59 is an amend an annual action plan for HUD-funded program activities. Looking for a motion on item number 59.
Mr. Chairman.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, the Steves again. Great, so I have a motion to approve item number 59 and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under Human Services, continued. Okay, 60. Cooperation agreement with the town of Cave Creek will also, okay, do I need to not say that one? Or just say how you want me to do that one?
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, as it happened, this happened to fall over onto another slide. So the first item here, item number 60, is part of the group that will need to be continued. The rest of the items, 61 through 68, will be for your consideration this morning.
Okay, as we will skip item 60 because it's being continued. So let's go through 61 through 65. IGAs and agreements with City of Buckeye, Town of Gila Bend, City of Litchfield Park, Arizona Department of Economic Security, Town of Guadalupe. 66 is amended agreement with New Leaf, Inc. 67 is appropriation adjustment for Human Services Department grant fund. And under the Medical Examiner's Office, grant funds from Arizona Criminal Justice Commission. So looking for a motion to approve items 61 through 68.
So moved.
So moved.
Okay, I got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I see another note on here. I'm going to skip 72 for a moment and go with the others. 69 is amend agreement with Northside Horse Outfitters, LLC. Number 70 is a termination of agreement with Captain Zipline, LLC. Number 71 is a resolution deferring payments and waive late payment fees. We'll skip to 73, which is a Maricopa County Weatherization Assistance Program. And number 74 is a Public Defense Services, which is title, under Public Defense Services, item 74 is title, is that 4 through E or is that IV-E, appropriation adjustment? I'm looking at my Roman numerals training.
4E.
4E, okay. Okay, the board will now consider items 69, 70, 71, 73, and 74. Skipping 72.
Move for approval?
Thank you,
So
Chad.
moved.
Thank you, and thank you, Steve. I have a
One
motion.
second, Mr. Chair.
Yeah. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 And any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 72 is an IGA with the town of Queen Creek, and I have a note that Supervisor Chukri would like to say something.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is something that our accounting team is working on with Cave Creek and some of my constituents. I want to thank RJ and other members from other departments for helping me with this. And we're not quite there yet, and there's still a few things that need to take place before I think we can approve this item. So I'm going to make a motion at this time to continue it to a date unspecified.
Okay, that's a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from the other Steve. You guys are sticking together today. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. All right, still under public health, 75 through 82 are amending contracts, IGAs, and agreements with Southwest Human Development, Banner Poison and Drug Information Center, Dirk's Moving and Logistics, Peoria Unified School District, Daniels Moving and Storage, Beltman Relocation Group, Delta Dental Plan of Arizona, Catholic University of America, item 83, an agreement with Temple University, 84, one-time purchase of hand-washing trailer for COVID response. Number 85, lease agreement with Roosevelt School District number 66. And number 86 is a RFP contract for testing and training related to COVID-19. So the board will now consider items 75 through 86.
So moved.
So moved. Oh, I'll give it to Mr. Gates.
Okay. Well, Steve was in here too, but you guys wouldn't know that. So I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on to real estate, 87, amend agreement for air quality monitors at Fire Station number 27. Under transportation, number 88, power distribution easement to Salt River Project. Number 89, ADOT programmatic agreement. Number 90, IGA with the City of Peoria. Number 91, easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents. The board will now consider items 87 through 91.
Move for approval.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under setting of hearings, clerk of the board, number 92, public service franchise for Crown Castle Fiber. Number 93, Mesa Linda Irrigation Water Delivery District. Under planning and development, number 94 is planning and zoning cases. Under transportation, number 95, patent easement abandonment road file number PAB-0113. The board will now consider items 92 through 95.
Move for approval.
Great, thank you, Jack.
Second.
And a second from Steve. Thank you, Steve. I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Aye.
Yeah, great. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under the consent agenda, under clerk of the board, 96 through 98, donations. Number 99, duplicate warrants. 100 and 101, mail ballot elections for Paloma Irrigation and Drainage District. Under the Tonto Hills, also the Tonto Hills Domestic Water Improvement District. Number 102, Head Start Monthly Report. Number 103 is a secured, unsecured tax roll corrections. Number 104, stale dated warrants. We will skip number 105 for a moment. 106, Treasurer's Collection and Investment Summary for April. Do I have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of items 96 through 106, with the exception of 105.
Perfect. Okay. Have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Under item number 105 is a settlement resolution of property tax cases and claims, and Mr. Gates.
Yes, Mr. Chair, I have a potential conflict on this one, so I will step away.
Okay. And legitimately step away into your backyard or something.
We want to hear birds.
That's right. I'm going to go see your favorite birds.
Okay, I think he's.
It's actually a CD that he plays, Mr. Chairman. It's not real birds. It's a CD.
It's a
that he
CD?
plays. Yeah.
He's faking it. Okay. Well, I think he's had enough time to step away or try to defend himself. So we will now consider item 105. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We'll wait or invite Supervisor Gates back to the phone.
I'm back on GoToWebinar. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, okay, you're on the webinar, okay. You can see what's going on. Thank you, Bill. Okay, we'll move on to the addendum. The under Board of Supervisors, A1, CARES Act expenditures. County Attorney, A2, conflict waiver request from Jennings, Strauss, and Salmon. Under A4, let me see. Okay, under A4, waiver of indemnification and insurance requirements for external referees. Yeah, I see. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm reading a note here. So, so we will do items A1, A2, and A4.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of items A1, 2, and 4.
Great. Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, under addendum, under County Attorney, A3, file a petition for special action review in Frings et al. And Seville et al. cases. Mr. Gates.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm going to step away again, potential conflict.
Okay. We'll let you step away and make fun of you again. Okay, I would think that that gives him enough time to step away. Now, again, considering item A3. The board will now consider item A3.
Move for approval of item A3.
Thank you, Jack. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We'll let Supervisor Gates get back on.
I'm back. It's warm outside.
I think you actually ran around your house that time. Okay. We will now recess as the Board of Supervisors and convene as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. Under F1, easement, right-of-way, and relocation assistance documents. The board will now consider item F1.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Jack. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Steve Gallardo. Thank you, Steve. I have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. We will recess as the Board of Supervisors and convene as the Flood Control District Board of Directors. Didn't we just do that?
Flip it around.
F1. Huh, so this is the same thing. Got it. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, I got two separate pages, and I'm Scott. All right, we will adjourn as the Flood Control District Board of Directors and reconvene as the Board of Supervisors. Item 107 is the public comment period. So, Fran, do you have anything to report regarding public comment, email responses, or is anyone cyber raising their hands?
I'm getting indications we don't have anyone on the line that's raising their hands.
Okay, great. So we do not have anybody registering for public comment, so we'll now move to item number 108.
Scott wants to
Scott wants me to.
remind you something.
Do I need to look at that right now in front of everybody, Scott?
I think Fran wants to say something.
Oh.
That was your cue, Fran.
Oh.
I'm sorry. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, many times we have county employees that reach certain milestones, and I feel like there's been a number of people in the clerk's office that have really stepped up for all these virtual meetings, and I'd like to recognize Juanita Garza, who's in the front row today. Ooh. Juanita has just reached 15 years with the county. I have her pin to give you, and I wanted to recognize her in this venue. Thank you for allowing me to make that comment. And
Awesome.
Congratulations to Juanita.
Scott, did you get that pen transfer out there with that photo? Okay. Congratulations. And thanks for serving during these times, Juanita. All right. We'll move to item number 108 now, which is the supervisor's summary of current events. I will look at, I guess, County Manager Joy first. Hello, Joy.
Well, nothing today, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. I will go up on the dais then right now. Supervisor and Vice Chair Jack Sellers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just a couple of things I'll mention quickly. I was asked to attend a City of Mesa Economic Development Advisory Board meeting to talk about infrastructure, transportation infrastructure, mainly around the Williams Gateway Airport area. They wanted updates on things like State Route 24 and what we're looking at or what's being looked at to support the needed infrastructure for Skybridge that's going to have a major impact on that area. And it was fascinating for me to attend that meeting because I served on that board for a number of years. So it was kind of like a homecoming. I also attended an East Valley Partnership annual meeting webinar that had Dr. Michael Crow and Dennis Hoffman from ASU and GPEC's Chris Camacho talking about what our economy should look like after we get past this pandemic. And their remarks were very encouraging. They did caution that we need to have a willingness to invest in education and infrastructure to maintain our quality of life as we keep growing. But it was really, all in all, a very encouraging meeting. So thank you.
Did you get to say hi to Denny?
Oh, absolutely. But it was all virtual.
All virtual. Awesome. All right, Steve Gallardo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would be remiss if I didn't make comment about activities that have happened in our community over the last couple of weeks. And this in regards to a lot of the marches and protests we've seen in our community. And it got myself to think and really start to look at how we govern and things we can do in the community and so on to really change the lives of many individuals and even change how we conduct ourselves as a government and so on. And I did attend a couple of those marches. I went out there. I wanted to show my support. I wanted to let them know that we all hear them. We understand the frustration that many people are marching about, and how we can do stuff differently. I spent my entire political career, really pushing for human rights, equality. How do we treat everyone the same? How do we treat each other with respect and dignity? And how do we help those that don't have a voice or don't have the ability to speak on their behalf? And it even got me thinking. I went out there in the marches, and I went on the very first night even. I told Chris and Dave, I said, let's go. We gotta show our support and let them know that we understand. And I went out there, and I have participated and even helped organize hundreds of marches, from immigration reform to education to firearms, you name it, I've marched. Even minimum wage, is Shukri's listening. But I participated in my fair share of marches over the years. I mean, I've done so many of them. And when I went out there the very first night, I knew this was different. This was much different. And David went out there with me. And one thing was I was the only elected official. The other thing was I didn't know anyone. And usually when you attend these marches, you know folks. It's the same folks that are pushing for justice reform and human rights and so on. And I didn't know anybody. And which really kind of got my eye. This is a whole new group of folks that have taken to the streets to say that they want change. These folks come from all over the county, from every background, from every age. We saw younger high school level kids to college, to more retirees, folks from every walk of life coming together. And you've just seen it progress over the days. You know, yes, there were some scary times with what went on in Scottsdale, and I think that's shameful, and some of the property damage, which I think is shameful. But the vast majority of the people were there wanting to send a message. And I've always been one to always join in that message. I think if you ever want change, you need to have folks talking about it. If no one's talking about it, then you're not going to change anything. And I think for the first time, let it be the state, the county, the cities, or even this country, I think we are going to see change in how we do not only our governing on various issues, not just policing, I think on various issues. You're going to see some tremendous proposals or changes coming through. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take some time. One of the things that folks keep emailing me about is this term called defund police. And I don't like that term, defunding police. I think it kind of scares folks. I think we call it restart. And I would prefer, and I keep telling them, call it a restart. Don't call it defunding police. You want to examine the police department and see what you can do differently within the police department. And I think that's one of the things that is front and center that I know all police agencies, including our own sheriff, is going to be looking at. How do we do things differently? But I think it even goes even further than that. It's not just policing. I think when as time goes on and we mourn the loss of George Floyd and give our condolences to his family, and anyone else that has lost their lives, I think we take a step back and look and see what can we do differently as a society when it comes to education, when it comes to housing, when it comes to health care. These are all critical issues that I think need a great dialogue, and everyone's voice needs to be part of this. And hopefully we can have some dramatic changes in this country as we move forward, as we deal with race relations and how we treat one another with respect and dignity. I'll be happy to announce that I am participating. I never thought about this, but there's a march on Saturday. It's called the Kids Walk. And you have so many young ones that are watching what's going on in the news, and they're seeing what's happening, and they're confused and maybe even scared. To be able to bring the little ones together to make a small march around downtown Phoenix to talk about love, talk about respect, and talk about helping each other. And that's the purpose of this march. It's going to start at 10 a.m. on Saturday. I am going to be out there. I'm going to walk with these community leaders and these young folks and really have an open dialogue with some kids right now that are a little scared. They're seeing what's going on, and hopefully answer questions and be able to all work together. So with that, Mr. Chairman, that is my report.
Awesome. Thank you, Steve. Thanks for your your nice words about our First Amendment and all the other rights that people came before us, really smart men that put together a Constitution, and we get to live by those ideals every day here as free Americans. So Bill Gates, Supervisor Gates.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Talk about a tough act to follow. And I won't even begin to try and speak to the issues with the eloquence that Steve Gallardo did, but just a reminder of how fortunate we are to have Steve on our board, his perspective, his experience, and his insights. But having said that, I think it's incumbent upon all of us, maybe who haven't marched in the number of marches that Steve has, to join this conversation and to be a part of this dialogue. And so I look forward to that as well. This is about all of us making changes to become better, to more fulfill those ideals that the founders set forth. So I thank Steve for bringing that up, and I thank him for his leadership and look forward to being a part of that dialogue. Coming up, I'll have an opportunity to be out virtually in the community in the upcoming week to talk about the great things that we're doing at the Board of Supervisors under your leadership, Mr. Chair. I'll be speaking to the Paradise Valley Town Council tomorrow evening, updating them in particular on the work of public health, the CARES Act funding that we just went through and allocated as a board earlier this week. And then next week, I'll be doing my second virtual town hall with my friends up in New River, Anthem, and Desert Hills. Our first one went very well with Chief Tobin, with Daisy Mountain, and we'll be doing another one of those next week. And finally, as has been discussed in the media, our numbers on COVID-19, we have seen a significant increase in the number of cases in the last 2 weeks. So I want to encourage everyone to continue to wash their hands, stay home if they're sick, to social distance as you're doing up there on the dais, and as Mr. Chukri and I are doing by calling in, and finally to wear a mask if you're unable to socially distance. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Great. Thank you, Bill. Supervisor Chukri.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to share a story with my colleagues. It's a brief one, but I think it touches on many of the items Mr. Gallardo just spoke about, as well as Mr. Gates and a lot of our friends and family in Maricopa County. And I sit on a board of a university, and a year and a half ago or so, the president was recounting a story, an experience he had at that university where a student came up to him and said, I went out and protested this cause, or I can't tell you what the cause is today. I don't remember what it was. And he said, good for you, and tell me how that impacts you. And this young woman had a vacant look on her face. And it was a telling story because she knew she had to go and protest, but she didn't understand why. She didn't understand how it impacted her. And being an educator, the president of that university felt as though it was important to share with her, we don't just go out and do things for the sake of doing them. We have to do them and understand the cause. And that's what we're seeing. We're understanding the cause. We're seeing and learning and educating on what's really happening in not only just Arizona and Maricopa County, but really the United States and the world. And this has caught and captured everyone's attention. The actions of Mr. Floyd, subsequent actions that we've seen around the country in response to that tragedy. And people get caught up about, well, why was this person in this situation in the first place? And while that might have its place, it doesn't, I don't want the message or the understanding to get lost in that this is a clarion call for change and for more so understanding. And I think we're getting there, and I think people understand that. And with that comes the responsibility, as Mr. Gallardo shared, that, you know, going and looting and breaking department store windows and setting things ablaze and stealing, that's not protesting. You know, that's crime, and that's stealing. What protesting is what Steve just described, going out and making sure your voice is heard in a respectable way. And while we've had a checkered response to that around the United States, I believe that those of us in Maricopa County, with the leadership of you, Mr. Chairman, with Troy Rich, I think the Sheriff's Office, many of our departments understood the importance here, but also understood the importance of protecting county property and being responsible actors in this. And I think we have been just that. So again, I get excited to know that I'm a part of what I believe is a remarkable and top drawer county and its leadership. And that also, Mr. Chairman, goes into the fact that we've seen what we've seen with COVID-19 and the response of Dr. Sonnenschein and Marcy and the whole team, that has just been exceptional. And to Mr. Gates's point, we do have a responsibility. And I think he raised that. I think our county manager raised that in recommending and strongly suggesting that we wear masks as employees of Maricopa County, and we're doing that and share that with all electeds because it is important. We have to do our part. I think Governor Ducey has expressed that very well. And we don't want to see closures again. We don't want to see a pullback. And that means that we all have to be responsible. And I hope that is the case and becomes the case more and more, and that we can see these numbers start to decline rapidly. So with that, Mr. Chairman, I know it's been a difficult year for you. But you have managed it well, especially with this CARES Act and the judicious way you put how we assemble a methodology for dispersing these monies. And that was obviously center plate just a few days ago and again today, and actually putting some of those monies to work. So with that, thank you.
Thank you, Steve. And as always, I appreciate the very kind comments from my colleagues, but at times, I'm just the point of the spear of a very well-rounded sword. With when you have issues that come up like this, I get to reflect back on just how great all of our staff members are heading through this pandemic together, and we will emerge from it. I know that there's sunlight coming, so it is absolutely different seeing everybody in their masks here that need to be here for business. And you know, I have one. I'll let my colleague borrow it. Just one thing I wanted to touch on a regional thing. We got to see a little bit how our community reacts to peaceful protest, and I'm not going to hopefully touch too much on the damage and destruction that occurred in a couple of our communities. very much, but this is quite the learning experience. I watched some of this going on TV on a Saturday night, and my kids were absolutely dumbstruck and scared about what was going on in an East Valley municipality. And my 10-year-old said, "That doesn't look like a protest. That looks like someone stealing." And it's like, you nailed it. The great thing about this is it's getting our young people engaged in change and politics, and maybe being interested on the way governments act, their public safety, how they protect. If there are new ways of doing that to give everybody the ability to feel safe, but also be supportive. I hope that transpires. In the West Valley, on a regional subject, during that first day of the curfew, people were absolutely in government were, wondering. This was a first for any of us serving in this elected capacity. And I got on a text stream with the mayors. They invited me to it. I want to thank Joy for letting us know what's going on. The sheriff was in constant contact with me over these days, talking about protecting our people and our buildings. That came to bear not with a protest, but on Sunday night, I want to thank the City of Phoenix firefighters. Sheriff Penzone was letting me know about a fire that was going on down the street, and when I heard the location, it's like, I think we're going to be safe, until he was saying, no, embers are flying. You should see this thing, and embers are flying and getting onto the recorder's office, and they're putting water on those buildings. And I could think of my clarion call about running 3 fabulous elections during my chairmanship, wondering about the people, the documentation, the equipment that was in that building, and saying, oh man, this is not good. And I was really happy to hear that the City of Phoenix protected those buildings. So thank you to them, or we'd be in a real crisis situation right now, because I don't think we'd be able to get money for those. We might have money, but we wouldn't have the equipment availability to pull off this election in August. So that's another thing. It didn't go well in Georgia. No matter how you slice it and dice it, that election did not go well in Georgia yesterday. And we are, as a board and as an election office and the recorder's office, we are going to try to make sure that we are going to consistently plan day by day to make sure that that election goes off in early August, hopefully without a hitch. And there are new ways of looking at this election. Let's all work together. I don't want to have people out for 5 hours waiting in the August sun. We need to figure out whatever we need to do to make the experience great. There is a lot of people now engaged in the political process, and sometimes some of these people might be voting in their first election, and we want that experience to be great for them. So that being said, I think that's it. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for all the great support. Everybody keep working hard, and I will adjourn the meeting.